Hello, I'm Callie Slack, and this is knockoff Draco Malfoy, or his birth name, Evan Mitchell.
I just forgot my name for a second.
I wanted to call you knockoff Draco Malfoy again.
Yeah.
And today I'm going to be teaching him how to play a little bit of the clarinet. So first things first, this is your case. This is a soft shell case. How you typically open
like
it.
a taco.
Yes, like a taco.
It's a tortilla case.
Tortilla case.
Yes.
So first and foremost, you typically want to open it this way. Usually the top of it has like a label or something. In our, huh? It is fascinating.
I love learning about instrument cases.
This is important for young students who, have never played before. So first and foremost, I've got a reed in here, and we have known each other for literally our entire lives almost, so you're going to just have to put this in your mouth. It's the one I've been using, so.
Okay.
That and, other way.
Oh, you actually do just straight up put it in your mouth?
Yes.
How? Like that?
This way. Flip it.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't really matter. It just has to be wet. So put it in your mouth. Like all of it. And so. Stop. Stop. Oh, Dr. Ford, I'm so sorry.
I should probably tone it down a little.
Just a little, please, and just put
Only you throw it a little.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Okay. All right. While you've got that sitting in your mouth, you can, just hold it there. All right. You will unzip your case. Got little latches and stuff on it. And I'm going to take you through all the parts of the instrument, okay? So,
Do I put this
first
in my mouth too?
no, just that. Okay, so this is your bell. This is where the sound comes out at the bottom. So when you're putting it together, you'll put this one first. This is your cleaning cloth. We'll get to that at the end of our lesson. So the next thing you're going to put on is this part. And this is your bottom set of keys. This is where your thumb is. So you will, as gently as possible, slide those in together. And do your best when you put it on to not squeeze these on. It needs a little bit of cork grease because it's not going in as hard, so I'm going to do that for you before I let you attempt to put it in. So, hopefully I still got it. Yes, basically. Stop that. Stop that, for real. This is for my class.
That's why I said it quietly.
You have no idea how well my mic picks up.
You could just go in and edit it real quick and just bleep out 80% of what I say.
Yeah, no. Why doesn't the student ever talk? Well, he lost his privileges. Alright, so that's cork grease. It doesn't take a lot, but I'm also not able to put a whole lot because that tube's almost empty. But as a student, you're going to want to cork grease your instrument, at least, especially a clarinet because there are so many corks on your instrument. You want to make sure it stays nice so it slides in a lot easier, so there's a lot less effort than the first time. So I'm going to take this back apart, I'm going to hand it to you, and you're going to put it together gently. Awesome. Okay, so now hold that part gently. This is the next part. If you notice here on the side, there's this little button thing, and it connects your bottom keys to your top keys, because unlike the saxophone, this thing comes apart for some godforsaken reason instead of just being a solid piece. Anyway, whenever you go to put this part on, you're going to squeeze down this button to lift up this key, because if you don't, they can hit each other. So I'm also going to go ahead and apply a little bit of cork grease to this one, while I've got it out, and we're working with it. Stop looking at the camera. Focus on your lesson. Wait till I teach you flute here in a couple of weeks.
Oh, God.
You're lucky you were in town. I would have taught you the saxophone. It would have been much more entertaining. You would have learned a lot more. I can teach you that some other time, though. Okay, so what you're going to do, I'll take that back. You're going to press this bottom key to where this pops up. You see that it's moving? Okay, and you're going to hold that down. You're going to line it up with that other key. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do it like when you take it off. So, press that key. Slide it in gently, and it's in. This horn is missing the silver ring that goes right here, so it looks like it's not all the way together, but it is, I promise. It's just missing it. So hold that again, gently. You don't want to crush your pipes. Well, I'm about to add 2 more things to it, so again, we're going to put a little bit more cork grease, just to make sure it stays on there.
You're a long instrument.
Stop it.
Or add a few more inches.
This is the barrel. The barrel adds like tone color and length to it.
That's where the bullet comes out.
So, just slides on like that. So, okay, and lastly, this is your mouthpiece, which I promise is clean. I have washed it. Like, this stuff is just from like dry air. Like, I don't know why all mouthpieces do this, but they do. So, again, you just want to make sure your instrument is getting greased properly. You know, it is really beneficial that you're as awful as you are, because this is what teaching a student would be like a real student.
Yeah,
Okay, so before I put this on the instrument, I'm going to need the thing out of your mouth.
Okay.
Okay, so how this goes on is you will gently slide off your ligature, that's what this is called, and these come in all different shapes and sizes and colors and fonts. This one is a leather one. I personally don't like using leather ones. I think they feel like weird, but they're better than metal ones, but I've just always used a metal one my whole life. So how the reed goes on is that it just slides right up to the tip of the mouthpiece. Put this on it to where, you know, it slides down a good bit. Then you just twist it till it's just tight enough. Okay? So, I'm going to take this back from you. You're going to take this off and you're going to do exactly what I showed you. Gentle. Alright. Reapply it. You know, it's like right to the edge. Good, good. Put that back on, make sure it doesn't adjust your reed, because if it does, it's going to completely change what you sound like. It will not sound good. You're probably not going to sound good anyway. I'm just going to go, like, because I don't sound good on this thing.
I never sound good.
Aw, you're a handsome young man, Evan. You're a handsome young man.
That doesn't mean I sound good.
Your voice is a handsome young man.
Like, not the voice of a handsome young man. It's a completely independent young man that is also handsome. Just my voice.
So when you put this on, you're going to want your reed to line up with your register key and your F hole. Stop. Stop. I know what it sounds like.
Somebody did this intentionally. Don't fuck with me, okay?
Okay, so when you sit with the clarinet, you're going to sit with your legs apart, feet flat on the floor, edge of the seat if you can, because I know you're short.
Wow.
Listen, okay, your
feet.
feet.
You embarrass me in front of all your friends, Callie.
The only person who's going to see this is my teacher, and
in front of all your friends.
Okay, but you're going to hold it like so. And the way you want to think about your mouth when you're like pushing it is like you want as little in your mouth as possible, and you want your embouchure, which is what your mouth is called. Once it's attached to the instrument, it becomes part of the instrument. It's your embouchure. Say it with me. Embouchure.
Embouchure? Because they can't just call it your mouth.
Stop!
Why do they have to make everything weird?
You know what else? These are called phalanges whenever you're playing.
That's the scientific name for them.
Yeah.
I don't know where the Amish turd or whatever came from.
Embouchure.
Embouchure.
I really wish I could tell you where that comes from, but I don't know. When you hold it, your thumb is gonna rest here. That's your thumb rest. It's got a little squishy on it.
See, that one's called a normal thing. Thumb rest. It's where you rest your thumb.
Listen, I'm sure there is a weird name for it, but I'm not gonna get into that with you. Okay.
That's a good
so,
decision.
when you hold it, your fingers are gonna come to rest. You're gonna put your thumb. Stop. You're gonna put your thumb like this to where it's not on the register key actively pushing it down, but it is over this hole. And then your other fingers are gonna line up here, 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 and then your pinky is gonna rest on this bottom key. Okay, so do that. Get that far. Top.
Okay. That one.
Wait, you were right. I was wrong.
I couldn't remember.
I was doing things in reverse. So your thumb should rest there. And first finger, second finger, third finger. First finger,
Like this.
Yeah, and you need to arch your, like, it's gonna feel weird, like the pads of your fingers need to be covering the holes, and you need to arch your hands just a little bit more. Like
that?
Yeah. My instrument itself doesn't require near as much as the arc as, like, theirs does. So it's harder for me, and I've struggled really a lot with it, and so I'm gonna try and help you the best way that I can with it. So, the first thing I'm gonna ask you to do is to lift up all your fingers and just put the weight on the thumb, like, and make sure you're not covering the hole in the back. So, so it feels like you're gonna drop it.
I am gonna drop it.
But when it's in your mouth, you know, it also has another place that it's gonna be leaning on. So put it in your mouth, like you were gonna play it. Okay. Let me show you how to play the note that I'm gonna have you to play. So. Do you see what I'm doing? Like with
foghorn.
It does a little bit, yeah. Not as much as saxophone really sounds like. So you want to sit up straight, you want lots of air support, and when you blow into it, imagine you're saying like the word you, or you, like the way your mouth pushes that, but you want to use like so much air. Like, imagine how much air you use when you're like screaming in LARP. Like, we need like that level of air, it just needs to be transferred into this instrument.
Okay.
So the note that I just played was...
Transfer all of my, like, hellish fury.
Yes. So that was called,
Potter!
So that's an open G. So all that is no fingers down, you're just blowing wind into the instrument.
Okay.
It's not going to sound good your first try.
So there's that one, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you do it. You got it. Alright. Now put it in your mouth like you're gonna play it. Like actually play it. Not that much of it. Like actually play this instrument. I would be ready. Okay, now. You. Say like you're saying you.
I am.
I think it's got a lot to do with the angle. Like, try tilting it down a little bit more. Lift up your neck because you don't want to crush this. Let me think about how to teach you what to do. Maybe we should go a little bit more simple. We'll start off a little more gently. I'm going to gently set this down over here. Never do this. I encourage you to get a clarinet stand. But, so... We're going to focus on that. The way your mouth needs to be, and I should have gone into this more, and that's my bad. So, and I forget, because like the last person I taught plays a wind instrument. So you're going to cup your bottom teeth, and you can bite down with the top. Like this is a mouth guard, like it's meant to be bitten on, so it's... So try just that. You're pinching too hard. Like it's trying to come out. I feel it. Yeah, you're getting it. More air. Just more air. Like, there it is. Yay! You can stop. Okay, very good. Very good. If you can get that to come out, you just have to do the same thing. Like, push air like you're blowing through the instrument. Like you're just trying to blow that thing apart with how much wind you're putting through it. So like, it's going to get loud for a second. But I'm going to blow with as much air as you should probably be using to get through all, like, I was blowing enough to get through this. Now I'm going to blow with the amount of air you need to get through that. Alright, so blow with that much air. Do the same thing you did, but more air. Not that much. Too much pinch. Too much. Can I get a little less mouthpiece? Like, you've got a lot in your mouth. We will master this barrel and reed before I make you put on the rest of the instrument, because you need to be able to do this so you can do that.
I don't like the way it tickles my lip.
It does feel weird. But as like a young clarinet player, they would be experiencing like that same feeling. Like what you're going through right now, don't feel bad. Like I know like a lot of times people see, you sound so good when you can get it out, and it's part of that is kind of a harder reed. I should be having you play on a 2, but I don't have a 2, and I'm very sorry. That's a 4. See? Whatever you're doing right now, memorize what you're doing, do it again. One more time. Again. Alright. Do you feel what your mouth is doing when you do that? Like, can you memorize what your mouth is doing? Blow again. That's what you need to focus on. Like, you need to try and memorize that mouth shape, that wind consistency, because it has to be that strong in order for you to get it to come out of this. Okay, so stop that now, so I can explain some stuff to you. You are literally like a 6th grader, and that's probably the best thing about this. You are like the same mental capacity. Okay, so once we add the instrument to that, it'll be lower, and it's going to need more air. So you need to think like warm, fast air. So like you're bringing it up from the bowels of your soul. That kind of air.
You don't want that air.
So grim. But no, I forget that like the last person I taught like played the clarinet so he could understand the concept of the saxophone. You have never put a wind instrument in your mouth, correct? Say that for the camera. You have never played any kind of wind instrument.
I've never played any kind of wind instrument in my mouth.
What?
She said I've never put a wind instrument in my mouth, so.
Okay. The only reason I'm saying that is because, like, last time I taught a clarinetist to play the saxophone, and she was like, you should have gotten somebody that, you know, has never
I'm a music major. All of my friends also play music.
Yes, please.
Except for Evan, because he's a piece of shit.
And you've also been in Florida, or else I would have taught you the saxophone, too.
Yeah, I wouldn't have had a choice.
Yeah, no choices. Just like today, no choices. You're living in my apartment right now. You have to do it.
Do it. You're welcome.
Okay, so back to this. This is important. I'm probably gonna get counted off for how much we've been talking, and that's okay to me. Like, this is worth it to me. Okay, so we're gonna try and recombine the barrel and reed with the instrument. So again, just for clarification's sake, it goes back on. You want your reed to line up with that register key. I've got a little off ways, a little cattywampus. Okay. So. Thumb resting here, but not on the hole. Fingers back where they belong. Okay, now do what you did before, but don't press down any of the buttons. No buttons. You did it. Do it again. Congratulations. You just played open G.
It's gonna make my sinuses explode.
Your sinuses were gonna explode here in a few days anyway, so.
That's true.
Okay, so I'm gonna teach you the next note that we learned, which is F, which is all you press is the hole on the back with your thumb. So, you pressing it?
Yeah.
Okay, so now do the same thing you did for G, just with the F hole covered. Careful, don't overblow. It's there, you just gotta support it. Come out a little bit and set your neck up straighter. You don't want to collapse your throat, it makes the wind harder to come out. Another thing I notice is like how far away your hands get from the key. I do the same thing here. Let me show you.
I don't know. I don't know how I'm supposed to like hold just the back of it. Like.
Here. So you anchor it with your mouth.
Yeah.
Like so. Your thumb takes the weight, and this thumb plays the key. So. And it's good for you not to straighten out your fingers and stuff, because like on the off chance that this is gonna fall, you want your fingers to be kind of close to it, to where they can go like, oh, you know, if you need to catch it, not like Edward Scissorhands. Yes, I know you're a germaphobe. I apologize.
It was just getting a little bit spitty between both of us.
Okay, so let's try that F again. Do it. Not that much mouthpiece. I believe in you. Try playing the G, actually. Let's try to go back to just the G. Now just press the F down. Are you pressing the F key? That's the F.
Why is that one so much harder?
Because we're getting lower into the shallow register. You will find that on this instrument, the really low notes are hard and the really high notes are hard. There's this really nice like middle area where the notes are kind of easy until you get to the break, and the break is really hard, but we probably won't have time for that today. Okay, so now that you can play the F, I'm going to teach you a note so that way you'll have a little bit more stability, and it's the E. Let me double check that I am saying that right, because Lord knows that I might be wrong.
E.
Stop. Okay, so yeah, it's the E, so it's going to be the thumb hole and your first finger only. So now you've got a little bit more control over the instrument, so try that E. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, look at you getting some control in there. Get it. Do it again. Okay, now you're...
I wish I had that much control in the rest of my life.
Okay, so you were putting your fingers in the wrong place, and I just want to correct that. Because you were trying to put it on this, but it needs to be over that hole, and then this one over that hole.
Okay.
So, but because we're going to get to those notes soon. But let's try that E again. That's a really good E. Good job. All right. So now we're going to backtrack a little bit. I want you to play open G, which you know, no fingers. Add the F hole, and then add the E. So. Okay, take your time. We've got all day.
What am I doing wrong now?
Take a second, breathe, don't let it frustrate you. Alright, once you've got the G going, add the F hole. Nope, you covered this. That's part of the reason why that one messed up. Here, want me to show you what alright, then add the E whenever you've got the F. And this is really hard, and I'm trying to cover like a good amount of stuff, and you know, like the clarinet is significantly harder to learn like in your everyday life with being a music teacher. Like when you've got like your group of saxophones, your group of clarinets, and your group of flutes in woodwind section, like at the end of the first week, the clarinets may be able to play like 4 notes. The flutes may be able to play like 3 or 4 notes. But the saxophones will be learning like very simple songs. And that's because our instrument's designed to be easy. Because the guy who made it couldn't play this, which this instrument is really hard. I would say that this is probably one of the hardest instruments to learn how to play.
Why would you start with that one?
Because I have to, like, you weren't here in town for the saxophone lesson.
Fair.
So, you know, I couldn't teach you. So, we're going to start with the F again. So, go ahead with that F. Do it. There it is. Put the E down.
There's so much saliva.
It is. It's a very moist instrument.
Oh my goodness. I want to play violin. It's very dry. Just like my soul.
We'll get to violin and stuff whenever I do string methods. Okay, now and do the E. Yeah. So now we're gonna add a little bit more control into where your fingers are. I'm gonna teach you the next note after E. So all you're gonna do for that next note for the D is add that second finger. I know what you're thinking. Stop it.
And add 2 fingers for the D. What?
Stop it. All right, now play the D. Slower, so it's going to require more air and more warmth. It's right there. You're yeah.
We're on the D.
Stop it.
That's what you almost said.
Stop. I almost said you're, I'll tell you what I almost said here in a second, but after we get done, we still have a couple more minutes, so D. Very good. All right. It's good. It's very, very good. Okay. So now you're going to add this third finger that's going to cover up the hole that has no key around it. And you're going to play it. It's called the C. It's your middle C. So if we look here on our fingering chart, it is this note here. And I know the camera can't see what I'm pointing to, but this one, because that's middle C, because it's the C that falls between the treble clef and the bass clef. Like, we read that C the same way that bass clef reads that C.
Okay.
I know.
I kind of understand what that means.
I know, you don't read any bass clef instruments.
I don't read any instruments in any clef.
Well, I'll teach you some of that eventually too. Okay, so play that C. Make sure you're not covering these holes when you do it. Don't overblow it. Oh, you're so close. It's right there. Okay.
I just keep screeching.
It's okay. Let me show you. This one is starting to get to that area where it's getting like way deeper, so. You just want to keep the air going as much as you can. Like if you can, and then you want to be able to just hit it. Like, you know, I went down from G, but. Memorize what that sounds like. You know, think about, and once you get it going, try and think about like where your mouth is, what your throat is doing. You want to make sure your throat also isn't confusing. Like I notice every time you like get, or it's not coming out, you're starting to scrunch up, and that's not going to do anything but make you squeak. So like if anything, go the opposite way whenever you're not getting enough air, and like
become a giraffe.
So crank your neck up. All right, so go. This will be the last note that I teach you, but you got to get it out first. More air. Ooh, ooh. Get it, son. Get it. Make sure you're not putting any of these fingers down. Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, I'm gonna pass out.
Yeah, don't do that. No, take a deep breath. We're gonna wrap up today because that's a lot of air. For the last part, I'm gonna show you the deconstruction of this. So you're gonna take this off gently. Oh my god, let's see how tight did we put that on there. That might have also been an issue if that thing was too tight.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I tightened it.
I should have checked it. That's my bad. So we're gonna take that off.
Yeah, I just assumed that, you know, the tighter the better.
So. No, because if it has to be tight enough to hold it on there, but if it's too tight, the reed won't vibrate.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what basically makes the music, is the reed vibrating. Because it's vibrating, boom, and that's what creates the sound waves that go through the instrument, and you can manipulate those with the keys. But, okay, so this is your cleaning cloth. For a saxophone, you have a slightly larger one. For this one, it's, you know, still a good size, and it's made of silk. That's because it has to delicately slide to this instrument, because if you look through here, there's a little peg that's in the top of it. You see the peg? Yeah. And that's for one of your keys, and a cloth cleaning rag, will get caught on that and rip and tear and stay inside there forever. So, for cleaning, what you're going to do is you're going to flip it upside down gently, And you're going to take the magnet and you're going to stick it through the instrument. You're just going to feed it through. Lift it up. It's come out the end. You're just going to pull it through the whole length of the instrument. So now you try.
Like a clown.
A little bit. Alright, so then now that's then done. We're going to take it off in the opposite order that we put it on. So mouthpiece off. You take the ligature and you put it back with it. And this is a mouthpiece and ligature cap. And what it does is basically like if this case like were to get dropped or something, that's like extra protection for your mouthpiece. Because as an instrumentalist, especially on a professional level, we spend a lot of money on mouthpieces and head joints.
That's the part that mainly makes the sound.
Yeah, like I play on a really nice like $180 mouthpiece, and if I take that mouthpiece and I put it on any instrument, with enough time I can make it sound like me, because that's 90% of who I am is that mouthpiece and like what it does. This stuff is much more like it's more expensive, but at the same time it's also much more replaceable in a weird way. Goes back in real gently. You want to, take your cleaning cloth and wrap it back up. Like so. The person I'm borrowing this from stores his in his bell. Other people put it other places. You want to make sure all your stuff gets packed back up. Put away back neatly in your case. Because, children have this awful habit of like half zipping or like half fastening their cases, and instruments fall out and they get broken, and that's expensive to fix. So there it is. There's a little bit of the clarinet for you.
Alrighty then.